I went to London to ask people the question, how's Brexit going after 5 years? And specifically, I went to King's Cross, Keir Starmer's constituency. Hello. To ask people there whether or not they had a message for the government and whether or not they had a message for Nigel Farage. We're interviewing people about Brexit today. What are your thoughts as it's the 5-year anniversary?
I think it was implemented as if Project Fear was a to-do list.
Brutal. How do you think Brexit's been going?
I think it's a total disaster. I was in Spain last week and trying to just get into EU countries now is horrendous. You're treated, second-class citizens in queues that you used to just breeze through. I think I'm mostly sad for all of the people who are, teenagers or in their early 20s now that can't go and work or live abroad. Like, it's impossible for them. And I think it's so short-sighted. There have been so many problems. Overall, for me personally, it's the travel, but I have not seen any benefits. I think it's completely missold and a disaster, honestly.
I think the fact that the biggest fan of it seems to be Donald Trump says a lot.
Yeah, so I am an immigrant, so I think I generally am against the idea of Brexit. And in lots of industries, including my own and some of my friends, that has impacted their work and work-life balance and all of that. I'm not very happy about it. I'm not happy about its effect on the economy. Generally not very positive.
Wow. So I'm asking people because it's the 5-year anniversary of Brexit. What do you think of it? How's it going?
I'm devastated still. I was devastated at the time. I'm a musician, so my work is quite dependent on traveling, and I feel very sad about it.
You take it just by hospitality and even outside hospitality, the experience with NHS, with all the nurses, all the doctors, predominantly coming from Spain or Italy, Greece as well. I'm from Greece myself, so I've seen groups of friends that used to work here years back, and that workforce feels gone now.
I mean, touring is tough enough as it is, and I think in the UK in particular, touring is brutal. And it is in America as well, so people are really dependent on having that access to Europe, and it's just, as it's getting harder, it's making it less accessible to be a musician and making it more of an elitist job, and that's, art can't be elitist. Everyone has to have it.
I think it was awful. It was a terrible decision. I think the government that started it was really preying on a lot of people's frustrations, insecurities. A lot of people were kind of suffering at the time, and they preyed on that, definitely.
Has it affected you personally? It sounds like it's affected your work.
Yes, my work it did, because I work with different companies, and now we have to outsource a lot of our projects to India and China and other places, just because of the pricing in the UK just not being sort of compatible with our budgeting, and so it does affect everyone.
It's going badly. It's gone very badly. And nobody wants to talk about it. The Labour Party doesn't want to talk about it. The Conservative Party doesn't want to talk about it. Liberal Democrats, a little bit about it, but not too much. Yeah, it's really poor.
Well, I wasn't old enough to vote in Brexit, like many others my age. I don't think it's going well from a personal and a factual point of view, but I have friends that can't live in the same country as each other, might have to choose one or the other, they can't get visas, they can't get jobs. I personally would have liked to go and live abroad, don't have that option anymore. I think economically I've seen that it's not been good either, but I think it's really damaging to understand the reason why that vote happened as well, and the fact that we were so powerless in taking part in it.
And I noticed that the person who brought in European human rights was Winston Churchill, and that my grandparents did not fight in the Second World War against the Germans to watch it happening here.
Has it affected people around you that you're aware of?
Yeah, I mean, clients of mine who are property developers, they can't find the workforce on the construction sites. It's very difficult. Labour's gone back to Eastern Europe. A lot of the Polish, very good workers have gone back, and so it's very difficult. Where's the manpower to build? We talk about wanting to build 1.5 million houses in the next 5 years, but where's the workforce to do it?
It's limited. It was short-sighted. I think, obviously the generation that voted for it, it's a shame. Like, they're not going to be around for long. And I think particularly in London, when you work with a lot of like Spanish people and everything, so many people are rushing to get their passports and to get their paperwork in order, and people have had to leave. Just terrible. It's a very limited view of the world, and I wish it hadn't happened. Still remember the morning after. It was devastating.
Do you feel as if something's been taken away from your generation then?
Yeah, 100%. The opportunity to even live and work in another country, learn another language, experience another type of lifestyle that is better than this. Now I feel like we just have one option, and that's to work in the UK and live in the UK.
And I worry that the direction we're going in is, I don't think Brexit has caused this. I think it's part of a symptom. I think it's facilitating it because it makes us weaker to stand up against people like Trump.
Sandy, I'm interviewing people about Brexit, how they think it's going. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a complete disaster. It should never have happened.
Elon Musk's support of Trump, and there were reports that he's going to be funding far right in Germany, people who are too far right for Le Pen, and also funding reform and the EDL. I think he's funding the ADL to make reform look more reasonable.
Probably. I'm not quite sure. I won't be able to go and see the Mona Lisa anymore, or whatever it was, for the same price as everybody else. You need a passport.
And insurance.
And insurance, and you'll need a visa soon, and we'll be treated like foreigners rather than friends.
There was a scapegoat, obviously immigrants, but it was awful, and I wish we could go back.
As an Australian with a British passport, it was a bit devastating that I couldn't go live in France or somewhere like that where I would have liked to, but I also very much enjoy living in the UK. I think it has taken away that sort of opportunity.
Has it affected you personally?
Well, before Brexit, I did have plans to go and study in the EU, but because my sister did it, and I was like, oh, I want to do it as well. And then the Brexit came, and I couldn't do it anymore, so
Up next, do they have a message for the government? Do you have a message to the government?
Well, yes, the government should stop ignoring the 48% who wanted to remain. The 52%, they didn't know whether they were going for a soft Brexit, a medium-sized Brexit, a hard Brexit. Did they want a customs union still there? Did they want freedom of movement still there? Did they want customs union, single market? We just don't know. It took the politicians about 3 or 4 years to work out. So, Starmer needs to look at the biggest market in the world is the European Union, and he's ignoring it, and he's flying off to China or whatever. He can talk to the Chinese if he wants, but we should be talking to our neighbours who brought us up from being the sick man of Europe in the 1970s to a flourishing economy. That's the big issue.
So ITV ran a poll, I think, 2 years ago. 86% of people in that poll said they want to rejoin between the ages of 18 and 25.
Okay, well there we go. Let's run with that.
Yeah,
that sounds like a reasonable idea. I think people have the more information now than they did.
It's coming up to 10 years since the referendum.
Wow,
so that's a decade.
That's so crazy.
Time flies.
Yeah.
And
it's all getting worse. No, that's not a good thing to say, but I
somewhat true.
Yeah, I think it's not looking forward. It's looking back and glorifying the past, which is not a good idea.
No, and it seems to be the big push within parts of society at the moment. They're quite regressive.
Mm-hmm.
Don't change or think of a new solution. Go back to the old values and force everyone to come back with us.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I've been looking at it.
Yeah, incredibly uninspiring. And I think from everyone, I just want to see people looking forward, and I don't think there's enough of that going on.
Rethink what should be put to a referendum and make sure everyone's educated before.
Just to act as soon as possible. Don't wait to see which way it's going, because I think it's clear which way the wind is blowing now.
Do you have a message for the government then?
Yeah. Bite the bullet and get out.
Be your message then to the British government?
To reconsider Brexit, because I also think that it genuinely affected the economy, and I believe in the power of community and mixity and diversity, and that's what's made London really inviting and welcoming and strong. So, and I feel that London lost a bit of that vibe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, over the last 5 years, I would say, yeah.
Do you feel it's the vibe or it's the economy that seems
I think it's less dynamic because a lot of people moved back to Paris or went to Amsterdam, for example, in different European cities. So yeah, London was very attractive, and I think it lost some of that attraction because of Brexit.
Sadiq Khan did an investigation into the effects of Brexit on London. He reckoned, and his committee reckoned, cost everyone living here about $2,500 to $3,500 per year. Like, it made you worse off. There's no two ways about it. Yeah.
I really, really wish you guys would put us back into the EU, but if you can't, just give us some deal that will help us and catapult us back to where we were before. But yeah.
It was amazing and shocking almost to see that no one wanted to support Brexit. Normally I even get heckled about it, but they wouldn't come on camera. None of that happened, and everyone wanted a voice. So up next, what do they think about Nigel?
Oh, do you have a message for Nigel Farage then?
Fuck you. I was doing so well on my expletives.
Do you have a message to Nigel Farage?
Not a big fan.
Stop lying.
Are we allowed to swear?
You can say whatever you want. Free speech.
I feel like, I don't even need to say what I want to actually say, but yeah, we hate you, like a lot of people like me hate you. I know he hates me too, because, for obvious reasons, but yeah.
Yeah, we can see you for what you are.
And do you have a message for Nigel Farage?
Not printable.
A message to the government? Oh no, sorry, a message to Nigel Farage.
I don't want to be rude.
You could say it in French. I doubt he'd be able to ever translate it.
Maybe, stop, think of other people, don't obsess over your personal agenda and stop lying to people.
Please stop hating on immigrants and please come back to England. What are you doing in America? If you're still in America, and also please let us know what you're doing with that money that you get from the Reform Party.
He's been 7 times in 7 months.
He's what?
Yeah.
Like gone to America?
Yeah, 7 times. That doesn't even include then all the conferences he's done, which I think is 3 around the UK.
Exactly.
And then I was down there last week. There's a bus, a burnt out bus that's on the seafront that's been dumped there for about...
In Clacton?
In Clacton, since before Christmas.
Wow.
He's done nothing.
Yeah, because I'm from Essex and the place I'm from, they voted Reform. So, I'm just curious to see what actually is going to be reformed and if,
I asked 20 people in Clacton what he'd done for the area.
Yeah.
I only got he bought a house
Wow.
in 7
Bought a
months.
house.
He bought a house
Wow.
in 7 months.
I feel bad for Clacton. You're welcome.
I feel bad.
So what do you think of that? I normally get a couple of comments being like, oh, you rigged that. So to people who say that, go out and do your own one, because I'm going to be surprised that you find people that support Brexit. Once again, thank you to all my Patreon YouTube subscribers. You keep this channel going and growing. If you'd like to become a member with exclusive footage, please look at the link in the description. Once again, thanks for listening. Bye for now.